House bill could help small communities save on road maintenance costs. Plus, political leaders continue to meet with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu regarding a ceasefire in Gaza. And what you need to know if you find yourself stranded at an airport. Newswatch starts right now. Good evening, I'm Lucy Schaefer. Welcome to Newswatch. Ohio villages spend thousands of dollars maintaining state routes, and some village leaders have had enough. Newswatch reporter Allison Patton has more.
Thanks, Lucy. Ohio House Bill 370 could cut villages' street costs. The upcoming election could stall its progress. The village of McConnellsville has 3 state routes running through it. Earlier this year, a troublesome pothole on State Route 78 had the village administrator, Tim Lewis, on the heels of the Ohio Department of Transportation.
And the instructions that I got was to fill it with cold mix. Fill the pothole with cold mix and it would be fine. But it is not fine.
After filling the pothole,
I got a hold of the state to see if they could help us grind the pavement to the catch basin so that it would drain.
But the state took 4 months to do so. Right now, villages in Ohio have to maintain state routes in their jurisdiction. But Ohio House Bill 370 would shift responsibility for maintaining these roads to ODOT and save villages money. New Concord Village Administrator Chris Hubner says the village has a $130,000 street fund. He'd love to spend more of that on village projects instead of state routes.
We can redirect that money to paving more streets or more maintenance on our alleys.
The House passed the bill and sent it to the Senate in June. It's unclear whether it will become law this year with the upcoming election. Changing seats at the state legislature could stall the bill until the November election. Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Allison Patton, live in studio.
Thanks, Allison. 2 Nelsonville residents are asking a judge to push forward a November ballot initiative that would revamp the city's government. Vicki McDonald wants Nelsonville to abolish its charter government for a statutory one. This would shift power from city council to a mayor, which Nelsonville doesn't have. City council was supposed to approve her initiative to be on the November ballot, but they didn't. McDonald and fellow resident Greg Smith are asking the court to get council to act or to put the initiative on the ballot directly. AEP Ohio workers are back home after helping with recovery efforts from Hurricane Beryl. In the aftermath of the hurricane, AEP Ohio offered assistance to thousands of people in Texas without power. After spending 2 weeks in the Texas heat, more than 120 AEP workers from across Ohio are home. AEP Ohio's safety and health consultant Scott Chrisman was a volunteer in Texas. He says the response from the community was memorable.
And hear not one negative response. We had people that were actually very happy to see us pull into their street. We actually would throw in power and folks would come out and they'd be clapping their hands.
While AEP Ohio reported that all their volunteers are home, Beryl relief still continues in parts of Texas.
Dry conditions this summer have caused much of southeast Ohio to be in a drought. I went to the Athens Farmers Market to see impacts on our local crops.
It's a normal Wednesday at the Athens Farmers Market, but this summer's drought conditions are putting a strain on farmers.
About the longest dry spell I've seen in a long time, and some crops did suffer from that.
All of southeast Ohio is experiencing some level of drought, and some counties are experiencing extreme drought, according to the U.S. Drought Monitor. And it's impacting crops like tomatoes.
The tomatoes have struggled.
Well, here's one example. These should be twice as large.
For other farmers, the drought has shifted some of their priorities.
Now dealing with this drought, getting our well working is something that has all of a sudden risen up on the priority list.
But overcoming and adapting to challenges is the life of a farmer, and they are taking this summer weather in stride.
Weather always is variable, always.
So it's been just a really positive year of growth for us.
With some rain, things are looking better now.
You know, a lot of those farmers really appreciated the rain we had these last couple of days, but it really isn't enough to get us out of that drought.
Right, but is there going to be more rain on the radar?
It's looking like after this weekend, we are having a little bit of a clearing this weekend, thankfully. Then into next week, we're looking at some rain. So hopefully they'll get out of that drought For our first look at weather, today we were expecting some more of that rain, but it really wasn't hitting us. It just really was going off to West Virginia, really some spotty showers here in Athens. You might have seen a couple dark clouds here and there, but other than that, it really wasn't giving us much rain. Let me see if I could pull that back up for you guys. There we go. Oh, I'm just in the black. Well, currently out there, it is 86 with those clear skies finally making their way in for all of Southeast Ohio. You can see Lancaster's at 82, Newark at 83, Zanesville at 84. We're all in those about mid-80s all throughout Southeast Ohio. From these past 24 hours, last night we made it into those mid-60s, and then once we reached today, we had that high of 86 out there for you guys. And then looking at tonight, that overnight low of 59. It is going to be a little bit on that cooler side for our overnight low than we've had these last couple days, from a little bit of a cold front that's making its way through. That's giving us those average temperatures once again. Once we get past these next couple days of some sun, we are looking like we're going to have another system that is going to be bringing us a lot more rain looking into next week. We had a system come through these last few days, but it really didn't pack that punch of rain, and it's looking like it's coming next week. I'll really be talking about that in my full forecast. Let's take it back over to Lucy.
After graduating 7 starters that are now playing college football, the Bloom Carroll Bulldogs are seeking to prove that they can continue to live up to their recent success. Newswatch reporter Charlie Ehlenfeld has the story.
Familiar sounds with unfamiliar faces. The Bulldog offensive line has massive shoes to fill with the loss of key players.
I don't know if we have a single person that would have the numbers that Dylan or Broden would have, and Jaden Ball is a very special football player. We don't have anyone that is Jaden Ball.
With 325 pancake blocks, Ball left an unmatched legacy at Bloom Carroll. Dylan Armentrout and Broden Bishop were also key contributors. Armentrout broke the school record for rushing yards in a season with 2,178 yards. Bishop was all-state, all-district, and all-conference as a safety. Under head coach Jeremy McKinney, the Bulldogs own a record of 24-5 since 2022. Despite the success, some doubt Bloom Carroll's ability to replicate the heights they reached. But doubters are nothing new for the Bulldogs.
They're kind of used to that. We heard that the year before, and the year before that, and the year before that. So our plan is just to go out and play Bloom Carroll football and let the chips fall where they will.
Coach is not the only one who believes in this new-look Bulldog squad.
Guys have been stepping up, working hard, and I think the expectation is just to play together and see how far it can take us.
Senior tight end Michael Stevenson says this summer's success is because of their bond.
Family. I think a lot more so than last year, a lot better leadership. We break on family, so anytime we get a chance to be a family, we eat together before games, team meals, stuff like that. We are a family, I feel like.
But this family has not lost sight of the ultimate prize.
Obviously, our first expectation is to win the MSL, and then the next one is to win the state championship.
Reporting for Newswatch, I'm Charlie Ehlenfeld in Carroll.
Bloom Carroll will begin their journey to Canton in Week 1 at Chillicothe. In the meantime, stay tuned for more Gridiron Glory content in the coming weeks, with Season 25 debuting on August 23rd. For preseason stories, rankings, and more, check out Gridiron Glory on X, formerly Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And for written content, head to woub.org/gridiron. Coming up, U.S. political leaders are meeting with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu regarding a ceasefire in Gaza. And an officer involved in the Uvalde, Texas school shooting has pled not guilty to 15 charges in court.
We're going to have some clear skies before some more rain moves in, next on Newswatch.
This is Portofino. It's full of love and beauty, but there's always a scandal.
I want to buy your hotel.
I'd rather burn it to the ground than sell it to you.
What have you got yourself involved in?
Be careful. There'll be no going back.
For God's sake, do it!
What's done is done.
Sunday at 8 on WOUB.
Mr. Ridley's been assisting with this case on a consultancy basis.
If you ruffle a few feathers, it might throw up a few leads.
No cameras, no witnesses.
This was premeditated.
This is now a murder inquiry. Let's go.
We need surveillance. We need arrest warrants. Something's not right.
I think you're too close to this, Ridley.
I don't know which side you're on.
We're fighting to be the #1 player in the world.
I mean, you don't know what's going to happen.
These were pop stars with a tennis racket.
I could never be alone. I could never be private.
I felt like my time had come. I'm going to do whatever it takes.
You're looking at one of the greatest sporting events of the 20th century.
Tuesday at 9 on WOUB.
Let's make the most of this summer.
There's about to be a whole lot of love in this kitchen.
Smells good in here.
Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
Disco started with parties. Good times, good feeling.
It brings people joy.
I don't need a detective, but they will do.
This is what we've got, and we can make it ours. It's so good.
Just days into her presidential campaign, a sit-down with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu puts Kamala Harris's foreign policy experience in the spotlight. Karen Kaifa is in Washington with a look at where Harris may stay close to President Biden.
President Joe Biden with Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House Thursday, urging the Israeli Prime Minister to accept a ceasefire agreement with Hamas to end the war in Gaza.
Welcome back, Mr. Prime Minister. We got a lot to talk about.
Biden's relationship with Netanyahu has stretched for decades, and Vice President Kamala Harris's stance on Israel has largely been defined by her role in the Biden White House. Biden's continued support for Israel in the face of the rising death toll in Gaza sunk his poll numbers among young Democrats who appear energized by Vice President Kamala Harris's presidential campaign so far. While a number of factors will influence their votes and the votes of other Democrats who have disagreements with Biden on Israel, Harris's stance could become more clear after her own Thursday meeting with Netanyahu.
She needs to define her own position, and she's already spoken out about the humanitarian crisis in Gaza. I support most of what President Biden has been saying. It's just what he has done at some times that I question.
Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin on Thursday described Harris as a key player in the Biden administration's foreign policy efforts.
She understands, national security, international affairs, and again, she's been a vital asset to the overall team throughout this.
Harris condemned pro-Hamas protesters who burned the American flag in Washington on Wednesday, describing their actions as despicable acts by unpatriotic protesters. In Washington, I'm Karen Kaifa.
One of the first police officers to respond to the Uvalde, Texas school massacre pleaded not guilty to more than 24 criminal counts. Former school district police officer Adrian Gonzalez faces 29 counts of abandoning and endangering a child. The hearing came more than 2 years after law enforcement's botched response to the mass shooting that left 19 children and 2 teachers dead. Gonzalez is accused of failing to follow his active shooter training. He told investigators he tried to call for a SWAT team on his radio but couldn't transmit inside the school building, so he left and never went back in. One other officer is charged.
For our full look at weather tonight, currently we have those clear skies here in Athens. Our temperature at 86. We're going to start cooling down here very soon all throughout southeast Ohio. We're seeing those temperatures still in those mid 80s as we go more towards Huntington. They are almost in those 90s. They're a little bit warmer than us here. And as we go a little bit more north, they're a little bit cooler than us with Columbus 83, Newark 83, and as we go into Lancaster 82, they have a few clouds covering them still from this system moving its way through, giving us some clouds for the day. But once we head into tonight, we're going to have some mostly clear skies moving their way in, and we're going to keep with those clear skies for these next few days. That overnight low of 59, it is a little bit on the cooler side than we've been having for these last couple of days. We have this cold front that is moving its way through our area. You'll see on that radar just how this cold front is moving in from Canada, giving us some cooler air. It is still summer. We're still going to have those temperatures in those mid 80s, but we're not going to be in those 90s for these next couple of days. But once we're out of this system, it is going to be bringing some warm air from Florida, really warming us up and getting us back into those 90-degree temperatures in these next couple of days. But 12 hours ahead, still under this high pressure from Canada, really cooling us down, putting us back in those average temperatures and giving us some clear skies. 24 hours ahead, your Friday night is going to be clear, and hopefully you'll get to enjoy these couple days without some rain. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, 85 for that temperature high. It really is right at average for our time of the year. That low of 58 is a little bit on that cooler side from that cold front making its way through, but it is going to be a pretty nice day out there. So hopefully you get to enjoy your Friday outside. Once we're looking at 36 hours ahead for our Saturday, we're having this high pressure kind of move off just a little bit, still giving us those clear skies, but there is a chance for this low pressure system to move its way through to getting us some rain as we look later into the week. Once we get past this 48 hours, that's whenever you'll see this low pressure system really making its way in. It's taking over from this high pressure system, that clearing, and then we're going to bring in some rain from that low pressure. We're having, still for our Saturday, we're going to be clear for your Saturday night as well. Once we're looking at these next 7 days, after Sunday, we're going to have this consistent chance of showers all throughout the week. Last week we had that chance of rain. These last couple of days we've had some rain, but it really hasn't stuck around and they've been very isolated chances. Once we get to this system that's making its way through, we do have a chance for some more heavier rain, a little bit over an inch of rain currently. That still needs to look into that once we get past 48 hours. It is a little bit hard to tell, but currently it is still looking like these showers that are moving its way through will give us some good, well-needed rain to hopefully get us out of this drought. On that 7-day outlook this weekend, we're going to be mostly sunny for these next couple of days, and then Sunday afternoon, that is whenever that chance of thunderstorms brings its way in. You'll see that Saturday, that's whenever the temperatures warm up, getting us to those 90s. That's that hot air from Florida moving its way in, and those temperatures are going to be cooling down as that chance of showers moves its way in. We're going to have those 70 and 80% chance of showers on Monday and Tuesday. Once we hit Wednesday, we'll have that 40% chance of thunderstorms as the system moves its way through. And on Thursday, this time next week, we'll be sunny and in those 90s once again. We haven't seen 90s on that 7-day for a few weeks, and it definitely is going to be feeling like true summer here once we get to those 90-degree temperatures. So enjoy these next couple days of some mostly sunny skies before you're going to need that umbrella looking into next week. Let's take it back over to Lucy.
Thanks, Isabel. The CrowdStrike outage effectively brought air travel to a screeching halt. If you find yourself stranded at an airport, it's important to know what questions to ask your airline. In today's Consumer Watch, Jen Sullivan breaks down what passengers need to know about their rights.
For days, passengers across the country have been dealing with lines snaking through airports as airlines try and bounce back from Friday's CrowdStrike outage, which crippled air travel.
This is the worst experience I've ever had in my 35 years of business travel.
Delta is still struggling amid the IT meltdown. This is what baggage claim looks like at Hartsfield-Jackson Atlanta International Airport.
I've never seen such a chaotic scenario with bags everywhere.
Now the Department of Transportation is launching an investigation into Delta.
Why aren't there more people ready to help these customers navigate those disruptions, get them the hotel, the voucher, the rebooking, whatever they need?
So, if you find yourself in a mess like this, what do you need to know?
Most airlines have a policy, I think all except for a couple of the budget carriers have a policy where after 3 hours of delay, they will give you meal vouchers.
Travel expert Dave Grossman recommends these tips for passengers. Ask the airline if they'll rebook you on another airline. Ask for hotel vouchers. While you're standing in line for an agent, also be on the phone with the airline. The phone might be faster. And know your credit card perks.
You might have a credit card that has travel or trip delay coverage, and you might not even realize it.
The federal government recently passed a passenger bill of rights, which allows passengers to get a full refund if their domestic flight is delayed by more than 3 hours or 6 hours internationally. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
Southwest Airlines will soon have assigned seats for the first time in company history. It will also start charging for premium seats with more legroom. Southwest expects the change to broaden its appeal. The company says 80% of its customers and 86% of potential customers prefer assigned seating. Meanwhile, Southwest also announced it will start offering overnight red-eye flights for the first time. No details on when these changes will go into effect, but premium seats will not be available until 2025. Next, how chronic stress can affect your health and what you can do to help yourself. And for the latest from Newswatch, follow us on X, formerly Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
there is concern about the size and scope of extremism.
Correspondent Evan Williams investigates the rise of Germany's far right.
Für die AfD arbeiten keine Neonazis.
And the fight against it.
We consider right-wing extremism the severest and most threatening danger that we have right now.
If we want to live in democracy in 10, 15 years, we have to act now. There's no time to wait.
Tuesday at 10 on WOUB.
The final of the 400 meters. And here it is. Brown's in the outside lane there. Next to him, Williams, the American Negro. Brown's going well, but he's leaving it too late. That Negro's dangerous.
I love my gold medal, but it's not, in history, it's not as important as their gold medals. For me, there's just something so special about what they did.
Tonight at 9 on WOUB.
In the beginning, there have always been those of us looking for stories.
This is a huge moment.
I feel like there's nothing around that can stop me.
It's your being, it's who you are.
We need to do something to make a change.
I know that there are people like me out there.
We need to have a voice.
It's what you do next that matters.
You start to discover a deeper part of yourself.
My whole world changed instantly.
We all face stress in our daily lives, but long-lasting stress can affect our health. Mandy Gaither has more on how chronic stress impacts the body and how to stop it.
It can be hard juggling work, family, and all the things in between.
More people than ever are reporting feeling chronically stressed. Stress that comes, that happens to all of us, but then that stress never goes away.
Chasing Life podcast host Dr. Sanjay Gupta says long-lasting stress puts your body into overdrive as levels of the primary stress hormone cortisol rise and increases the heart rate.
Could leave you feeling dizzy, could leave you feeling nauseated. If it's just short-term stress, which again we all have, then your cortisol levels will go back down. But with chronic stress, your levels stay elevated. It's kind of like leaving your foot on the accelerator of your car.
Gupta says some of the best ways to fight back against chronic stress are to get enough good quality sleep. Those Z's allow your body to relax and focus on having a healthy diet.
Comfort foods can be comforting, but also stress-inducing in the long run.
If social media or news events are stressing you out, take a break. Instead, spend time with family and friends. Gupta says staying connected is key to relieving stress. There's also relief in things like deep breathing and meditation.
One of the most helpful tools, probably exercise. Exercise releases these feel-good endorphins, and you can even tailor the exercise to your specific mood.
For Health Minute, I'm Mandy Gaither.
In times of stress, the CDC says it's especially important to limit alcohol intake and avoid using illegal drugs or misusing prescription drugs, as the use of these substances tend to increase when people are stressed. Still ahead this year, Olympic medalists will get a piece of history placed around their necks. But first, here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your public television station.
On The Great American Recipe. Pass your recipe to the person next to you.
Oh my goodness.
I've never made this.
Fufu is something that Ajo prides herself on, and I want to do her justice.
That's so nice just to see them working together and teaching a technique.
I got John's chicken tacos.
Hey, John.
A little bit thinner if possible.
I have confidence in Jim, but I have plenty of advice.
Monday at 9 on WOUB.
than 70 years, WOUB Public Media has been the place where people in our region turn to learn how stories of the past ignite the imagination of the future. It's where information, entertainment, and education work together to inform, enlighten, and inspire generations. It's the place where the community gathers to hear and see our world in new and innovative ways. WOUB, the public media you trust that's worthy of your support.
WOUB is recognizing members of our Cornerstone Society. The Cornerstone Society is a group that wants to ensure the future of public media in our region. It includes people across our area who value news, entertainment, and cultural programming, as well as the educational services WOUB provides. Also included are graduates of Ohio University who took part in the WOUB Student Professional Development Program. Thanks to the Cornerstone Society for their generous support. To learn how you can be involved, email woub@woub.org.
Finally tonight, winners of the 2024 Summer Olympic Games in Paris will bring home a piece of history. Each medal features a piece of the Eiffel Tower's original iron structure. Following renovation work during the 20th century, certain metallic elements were removed from the iconic landmark and were carefully preserved. They have now been repurposed to create the medal's hexagonal centerpiece, a reference to France's geometric shape. Behind the creation of the estimated 5,100 medals, renowned jeweler Mason Chaumet. The Summer Games kick off in the City of Light on Friday. Honestly, I think that's so cool how they're doing that, a little piece of history along with the medals.
And it's like an iconic piece of Paris. I mean, it's kind of hard not to include something like that in there, and it's a great way that how they're doing it.
What's your favorite part of the Summer Olympics?
Oh, I love swimming. I love gymnastics. It's hard not to, especially whenever we just like kick butt at it all the time.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of the gymnastics. I'm super excited to see everybody do that, so yeah.
Well, for our final look at weather for tonight, we're going to be seeing on that radar, those clear skies are making their way in. We've had some rain from these last couple of days. We're expecting a little bit more rain than we got today. We really only had maybe a couple sprinkles here and there outside for today, but those clear skies are coming in and they're going to continue. Currently, those clear skies, 86 degrees out there. Currently, those temperatures will start to cool off to our overnight low of 59. Those mostly clear skies continuing into tonight. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, just a couple clouds here and there. The high of 85 and that low of 58. It really is going to be a pretty, finally, average day. We've had some extremes here and there, but finally to have an average day, it is going to be nice out there. Hopefully you'll get to enjoy those sunny skies on Friday. Saturday, we are going to ramp up those temperatures. It is going to be 90 degrees for your Saturday. So hopefully you do hydrate if you're outside, but get to enjoy those sunny skies before some rain moves in. Looking like Monday and Tuesday are our highest chance of some showers, and there's going to be a lot of rain that is coming with those showers. Looking at about over an inch over these 4 days. And once we reach this time next week, we'll be back to those sunny skies and those 90-degree temperatures.
And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. For Allison Patton and Isabel Isco, I'm Lucy Schaefer. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can find the latest news anytime at woub.org or follow us on social media. Have a great night.
This is the PBS app, ready for you when you want to watch full episodes of your favorite shows. Even stream your local station live. Stream anytime